This topic honestly gets me so excited. Can't wait to do this video. Hi vloggers, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the 5 things that you can do on Twitter to grow your followers and engagement. If you're not familiar with me, then I think it's important for you to know that Twitter is my favourite, ultimate, #1 social media platform. I think it's the best place to nurture your community, network with people and promote yourself. You guys know, and I've said this for a while, but the reason I want to talk about it is because I don't think people actually realise how powerful Twitter can be and the results that it can get. By implementing a solid Twitter strategy, it's worked wonders for my online presence. So I just sort of wanted to remind everyone about the larger purpose behind what Twitter can actually do, whether you've been blogging for 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years. I feel like it's important to point out that Twitter is underrated and we should all definitely be making more use of it. That being said, I know there have been a lot of changes to this platform recently, what with the introduction of the new 280 character limit, and I also think people can be quite fearful when it comes to self-promotion on this platform because it makes them feel quite uncomfortable. So there's all of these things going around in their mind and it makes them want to use the platform less. So I thought it would be good to talk about, exactly what you can do on Twitter to grow your followers and engagement in order to grow your online presence, build your community and promote yourself without feeling scared. But what's important to remember is that you are doing this for you. So no one is telling you what to tweet about, no one is telling you that you've got to be active on the platform 24/7, but there are certain things that you can do to give yourself the best chance of increasing your presence on there and bring traffic back to your website, which is exactly what we are going to talk about. Here we go. I'm so excited. First and foremost, you need to tweet at optimal times. You can't send tweets out at random times hoping that loads and loads of people are going to see them. That being said, you can do some guesswork so you've sort of got an idea of when your followers are most active. So for instance, when they're on their way to and from work or when they're sitting down in an evening, but you're not like, I know that you are online right now. That's what I did. When I first started out, I just guessed at random times I could schedule tweets for when I thought my audience was going to be most active. And that did work for a while. But then surely I thought there's got to be more accuracy with this because everybody's audience is different. You want to dig a little deeper when it comes to optimal times that your audience is online. So instead of just guessing at times when your audience is most active, you can actually use a tool that analyses your Twitter followers and tells you when your audience, just yours, is most active on the platform. Plus, and this is where it gets really, really cool, if you use Buffer to schedule your tweets, you can use this tool to sync with your Buffer account, which will then create your own personalised social media posting schedule. How good is that? Maybe you look at it and see that your audience is most active online in the afternoon and the evening, but you think you should be tweeting more in the morning. Just go with it. Don't overthink it and see what happens. And be sure to update it once a week because people's online habits are always changing. It's super easy to get stuck in a schedule and just send out the same tweets at the same times every single day. But people aren't online at the same times every single day. Know your optimal times first and foremost. None of the rest matters if people aren't going to be online to see your tweets. Next, you're going to want to increase how much you tweet. Let's say you tweet 5 times a day. You're going to want to increase that to 10, even 15 times a day. Twitter is ineffective if it's only used once or twice a day. The more your followers see you, the more followers you'll get. If you're only sharing your newest blog post once a day, or you're only asking your followers a question once a week, that's not nurturing them, it's not building a relationship with them, and it's definitely not getting eyes on your content. It's amazing what happens when you start sharing the same content more than once, when you start tweeting more. I remember when I just used to share my newest blog post out once a day on Twitter, and all I used to do was just share the headline. But then I switched things up a bit and I started sharing it 3 times on the day it went live, the next day, the next week, the next month. And guess what? My traffic from Twitter started to increase. So if you're only tweeting a couple of times a day, or you're only sharing about your newest blog post once, you can't expect your followers and engagement to start increasing really quickly because you're not doing enough to make that happen. If you tweet more frequently and you tweet at optimal times when you know your audience is going to be online, that's the perfect recipe. You've got to keep up the frequency, even if it feels like it's too much and even if it feels like you're being too salesy. And believe me, I've been there, it happens to all of us, because this is going to pay off in a really, really big way. You've got to keep believing that. Next, you're going to need to engage. This is a big deal on Twitter, especially if you're working to build a community or generate more relationships with people for collaborations and social shares. You've got to be going into the platform and interacting with people, because this is really what's going to pay off for you in the long run. And the best bit is, you can then bring these people on your journey with you. So when you're celebrating 10,000 followers, you can be like, oh hey, you were with me from day one, thank you so much. And your community will really appreciate that. You know, I tweeted at optimal times, I started tweeting more, and I went into the platform and actively engaged with people by retweeting their content, replying to mentions, taking part in Twitter chats, and so on. I can't tell you how obvious it is when a Twitter account has loads and loads of followers but no engagement. If you're just sharing your own content on Twitter 24/7 and it's getting no likes, then that probably means that you're not engaging as much as you should be. You don't just have to share your own content on Twitter all the time. You can tweet other people's content and tag them in your tweet. You can get your audience involved in your decisions by hosting a poll, or you can tweet using a trending hashtag. There are so many different ways that you can get your audience involved, and that is what's going to make you stand out. The 4th tip to grow your Twitter followers and engagement is to structure your tweets effectively. You're tweeting at optimal times, you're tweeting more, you're engaging. Now you've got to get people to engage with your tweets. Because you might be doing all of these things, but they're not going to have any effect if all you're doing is tweeting what you had for breakfast, or you're just sending out one word at a time or something like that. Or maybe you think that you are crafting interesting tweets, but you're not seeing the engagement that you'd like, so they just need reworking a bit. It's really important to stay up to date with what works on each social platform, because each message that you share to each platform should be different. So do your research, test some things out. If one tweet performs better than another, make a note of it. What's important is that you are crafting your tweets in the best way possible to get as many eyes on them as possible. The final thing that's going to help you grow your Twitter followers and engagement, and this is something that I try and tell as many people as possible because it's one of my favourite facts ever. The last tip to help you grow your Twitter followers and engagement is to include an image in as many tweets as possible. If you include an image with your tweet, it gives it 150% more chance of it being retweeted. Honestly, 150%. I mean, why wouldn't you include an image in your tweet with that stat? You can include whatever image you want with each tweet, so long as it's branded and relates to what you're talking about. You're actively creating a catalogue of photos on a daily basis through your blog and Instagram. So go back to the beginning and start using them. When you're sharing a quote, include a quote graphic. When you're asking your followers what they're up to at a weekend, share a picture of what you're up to. Just try and include an image wherever you can. So those are the 5 things I think you need. Tweet at optimal times, tweet more, engage, structure your tweets effectively, and include an image. What's missing? What else works well when it comes to growing your Twitter account? I would love to know what you think. Feel free to leave that in the comments below. What other strategies are there when it comes to growing your followers and engagement on Twitter? That's all for today, bloggers. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you want more online presence tips and tricks, and give this video a thumbs up if it helped you. Remember to follow these 5 tips when it comes to growing your Twitter presence so you can get one step closer to a breakthrough. See you next time.